guys ready for Christmas? It's what? Oh my goodness. Are you ready for Christmas, Millie? Yeah? Presents? What's Christmas about? What do you like about Christmas? What'd you do? What? You like presents?
I like the presents.
Yeah? Do you like food? Eating?
I love eating.
You love eating? Yeah? What about, you like it too? What about snow? Yeah? We like all those things about Christmas, right? But what else? Is there something else that we haven't talked about that you like about Christmas? What about this? You know what this is? You know what? Millie, you know what this is? Miss Tab, you know what this is? Anybody? This is a story, right?
A story in a Bible.
Yeah?
It's a Bible.
Yeah, and what do you think this story's about? What?
Mary got babies.
What baby? What baby?
Jesus.
Baby Jesus. Yeah? And you remember what happens in the story? That baby Jesus' mom and Mr. Joseph, they go someplace, remember? Where'd they go? To a...
I want my mom.
You want... Huh?
I want my mom.
You want your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah? Where'd they go? Where does Joseph and Mary and baby Jesus go? Remember?
Me.
Yeah?
The stable.
They end up at a stable, but
Bethlehem.
they started going to a town, remember?
Bethlehem.
Yeah?
Called Bethlehem.
Called Bethlehem. You're exactly right. And do you remember what happens when they first get to Bethlehem? They're looking for a place to stay, and what happens? They can't find a place. Can you imagine? Can you imagine going? Have you ever gone on vacation and not been able to find a place? Yeah, that would be really, really bad, wouldn't it? Yeah. And they were told there's no room for you, right? But they do find a place, and Millie said it. They found a place, a stable, a manger, right? And Jesus gets born in a manger with what lives in a manger? Animals, right? And so, and he was covered up in straw and cloth, right? And then remember what happens? He has two groups of people come see him. And the first group, they took care of some kind of animals. Do you remember? Maybe the people out there remember. You think?
Oh, I definitely remember.
Yeah?
Sheep.
Sheep. And who tells the shepherds watching the sheep about baby Jesus? Remember who tells them? Angels. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine finding out about Jesus from angels? Who'd you find out about Jesus from? Who told you about Jesus? Was it an angel? Or did you learn about it in Kids Rock?
I forgot.
Yeah, in Kids Rock, maybe Miss Natasha, or maybe Miss Jen S, or Miss Katerina. Yeah. Who did you find out about Jesus about?
Mary.
From Mary. Mary's in the story. That's Jesus' mommy. But who told you? Was it Granny? Did Granny tell you about Jesus, or maybe Mommy tell you about Jesus?
Mommy, and by praying, Jesus tells me.
Yeah. Who guys out there? Who told you about Jesus? Somebody had to tell you about Jesus, because somehow you have to hear about him. But you remember what the shepherds did after they heard about Jesus? What'd they do? What did the shepherds do when they heard about Jesus?
I don't know.
They said to one another, they said, if there was something outside those doors you wanted to go see and you wanted Millie to see it too, what would you do?
Pray?
You'd say, let's go see, right? So the shepherds said to one another, let's go see this thing that the angels told us about. How do you see him? When you hear about Jesus, how do you go see him?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I was like, what? I forgot the question.
Yeah.
I forgot the question.
So, okay, how do you go see Jesus? If you hear about Jesus, how do you go see him?
I see him by praying.
Yeah. Do you read the Bible? Do you learn at church? Millie? How do you go see Jesus?
Praying.
Have you ever prayed when you were having something? What about when you had your tooth pulled? Have you ever prayed and said, Jesus, I need you to help me with this? Have you
Yes,
ever?
yes,
Yeah?
yes.
Do you know that's a way to see Jesus, because when he helps you, that's actually seeing him. What about you guys at home? How do you see Jesus?
How you guys see Jesus? Tell us.
Huh?
Tell us how you guys see Jesus.
Yeah.
Guys,
Do you think they know?
How you see Jesus.
Yeah.
Tell us.
What else happens in the story? The shepherds, the angels come, and then the shepherds come, and
There's nothing else.
there's nothing else. Now, I don't think so. I think there's something else in here. Because you know what? We just talked about what Luke wrote this one story about Jesus. And no, not Luke Barnhart. Luke was a doctor. He was a physician. And he had a friend named Theophilus, and he wrote what he wrote about Jesus, he wrote to his friend, because he thought it was amazing. Even though he was a doctor, he thought it was amazing that all of these people like you and me wanted to go see Jesus.
But guess what?
What?
My little sister knows a boy named Luke Barnhart.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, this Luke lived a long time before him.
He did?
And he wrote all this stuff down. But he wrote about shepherds, and he wrote about everyday people. He's the one that said there was a bunch of town people that when they had the opportunity to meet Jesus, they said, no, we don't have any room for you right now. You're going to have to go someplace else.
How?
But then there was another guy that wrote about him. You know what his name was? Look, right here. His name was Matthew.
Oh, I heard of that.
You heard of that? And
Matthew
you know who
16?
Matthew was? You know what he did? Luke was a doctor. Matthew was a tax collector.
Oh, yeah.
And people didn't like tax collectors.
We read this story on stage with you before.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? I bet your mommy and daddy don't like tax collectors. I know I don't really care.
You said the same thing last
Yeah?
time.
I said the same thing last time? Yeah?
Today? That time today?
Do you have people at school you don't like? I hope not.
Yes, I do.
No. But see, people really didn't care for Matthew, but Matthew didn't write about everyday people. Matthew wrote about kings. And Matthew wrote about 3, come on, help me, Miss Tabitha. 3, who else went to see Jesus? Who?
3 men. 3 wise men.
3 wise men, you got it right. And what did the 3 wise men do when they found Jesus? What do you like about Christmas most? Presents. What did 3 wise men do when Jesus, because it was Jesus' birthday, right? What did the 3 wise men do? They gave Jesus presents, and I bet you know what they were. Yeah? What were they?
Frankenstein?
Frankincense.
Oh.
That's good. Come on. What else?
Frankincense.
Uh-huh.
And
Gold.
Gold and myrrh.
And myrrh. They were all pretty expensive gifts. You guys going to get anything expensive for Christmas? Miss Mill, huh?
I don't know what Mom's getting me, so I don't even know how expensive.
Yeah, but you want expensive gifts, right?
Oh.
Yes?
My mom said that something starts with an H, and I always want high heels. She said it's not in a bottle, so it's definitely not higher high. And there's nothing else I can think of as a toy that I can think of as a toy.
Yeah, can you help me finish this story? Okay. So here's the really cool thing. You got Matthew, who was a tax collector, that wrote one part of the story, and you got Luke, who was a doctor, who wrote another part of the story about two totally different kinds of people. And you know what I've learned from this story about that Jesus came for everyone. It doesn't matter whether you watch sheep or work in a field, or whether you collect taxes, or whether you're a king. Jesus came for everyone. But the thing of it is, the story also tells me that there's some things we need to do. We have to hear about Jesus, right? Because the angels came so we could hear, right? But then we also have to do something, because the shepherds, we already said it, the shepherds said, let's go see. Let's go. We not only need to hear about Jesus, we need to go see Jesus. We need to go see him, right? Right? But then there's something else we have to do, because we can't go and we can't see if we're not willing to make room for him. How do you make room for Jesus?
By making room in your house.
By making room in the house, right?
Making a big old feast, making him a bed.
Yeah, you can do that. The house.
Manger.
Yeah.
A hotel manger.
Well, what about this? What about making room in your day? This is Christmas Day, right? And we're gonna eat. You're gonna come over and open presents. You're gonna eat, right?
At your house.
At my house, yeah.
You're my granddad.
Yeah, I know that. But you know what we can do? We don't even have to go anywhere. We don't have to change our plans, and we can still make room for Jesus.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that? And we're gonna do that. Yeah? Because listen, when we make room for Jesus, we do what the wise men.
Make room for Jesus.
Yeah? We make room for Jesus like the wise men by giving Jesus the same thing that you want for Christmas and the same thing Miss Tabitha wants for Christmas.
The same thing I want for Christmas. I want this bunny. And I know Mom's going to get me some.
And you know what you're going to get? But what do you think Jesus wants? What do you think Jesus wants for Christmas? What?
Respect and love.
Respect and love. Miss Ella, you are exactly right. Now, how do we show Jesus? This is Christmas Day. How do we show Jesus respect and love? He told us. He told us here. He told us in another part of this book. He said, you know what? If you want to show me respect and love, then be kind to other people. Remember that verse in the Bible that says, do unto others as you would?
Yes, the golden rule.
Yes, the golden rule. That's exactly right. The amazing thing, Jesus not only said that, but he said, when you're kind to someone else, when you're kind to Miss Millie, your sister, when you're kind to your friend, Miss Tabitha, and you do it because you're trying to show Jesus something, he says, when you're kind to them, you're actually doing it to me.
I'm doing it to you.
Isn't that amazing? When you're kind to your mommy, when you're kind to your daddy, because you want to show respect to Jesus. Yeah, when you're kind to them.
To my friend Aaliyah.
When you're kind to her. When you're kind to everybody because you want to show respect to Jesus.
When I'm kind to my ducky.
When you're kind, yes. When you do those things.
I'm kind to my granny.
When you're kind to Granny. The list goes on and on. You can be kind to whoever you want to be kind to. When you're kind to me. Are you ever kind to me? Yeah. When you do that because you want to be open to Jesus, it says you're doing it to him. Yeah? You're doing it to him. Everybody out there that's watching this morning, if they don't have to stop eating what they're eating, they don't have to stop opening presents, they don't have to stop anything to give Jesus a gift. All they have to do is make room for Jesus in the day, and they can do that without inviting anybody else, without going anywhere, just by showing love to someone else. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yep. And that's really the whole story about Christmas. So guys, come here for a second. Can we take a minute right now just to, Miss Tabitha, can you come back up? Yeah? Can you guys do this with me? Because this is Christmas morning for everybody out there. Can you guys look at that clock right there? And on the count of 3, help me by saying Merry Christmas. Look, all those people out there, can you do this? I'm going to count to 3. Wait till I count to 3. And then, ready? We're going to say Merry Christmas. 1, 2, 3. Merry Christmas!